On Nick Carparelli, executive director for bowl season. Nick, so sorry to keep you waiting there. We apologize for the miscommunication there, but thanks for waiting and thanks for coming on. How are you?
Not a problem. I'll defer to Coach Boeheim anytime.
Coach Boeheim had something to say, so we gave him the floor. Go ahead,
Hey,
Paul.
Nick, I'm going to ask you a question I probably should know the answer to right off the bat here. Bowl season, are you guys
Sure.
doing the bowl season radio too? Is that you guys that are handling that?
Yes, we partner with First Team Ventures. They do all the deals, much like the TV rights. Every bowl owns their own radio rights. It's up to them to do the deals. But once we put that platform together, roughly half the bowl games, 21 bowl games, are on the bowl season radio platform, which really does a great job of branding the entire bowl season, previewing upcoming games, recapping past games. So it's been a great project for us.
Yeah, and so that's why I was just asking that is because you can catch the bowl season radio games right here on ESPN Radio Syracuse.
That's right. We've got a lot of them. And with that in mind, Nick, you've been in this role for, 5 years now, 2019. For folks who don't know, can you kind of explain your role and what you do throughout the year and your involvement in, bringing bowl season together like this?
Yeah, so, bowl games have been around for a long time. The Rose Bowl was the first in 1902. We have a handful of bowl games that are 90 years old now. The Sun Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Gator Bowl is celebrating its 80th year. But until 5 years ago, we never really had an organization to kind of pull all the bowl games together, right? They're all individual sports organizations. They all do a great job of marketing and branding themselves in their community. But, the college athletics is evolving in a lot of ways, as we know. The college football fan looks at bowl season as a time of year, like they do March Madness, like they do Major League Baseball playoffs, et cetera. So the bowls came together, created my position, said, "Here, Nick, take this thing and run with it. Do something with the bowl system that we've never done before." So we launched the bowl season brand, and everything we do is driven towards marketing, promoting all the teams as they become bowl eligible, but most importantly, all of the bowl games across the country. They do such a great job of creating moments and memories that last a lifetime for everyone involved.
And along those lines with creating the moments and memories, we've seen some of these bowls, like the Cheez-Its Bowl comes to mind, the Pop-Tarts Bowl comes to mind, the Duke's Mayo Bowl comes to mind, where they have like these gimmicks that go into the game to make them fun. How do you kind of balance that, and do you expect to see more of that from bowls moving forward? But how do you balance like the fun side and the gimmicky side with also preserving traditions and matchups and making it about the teams and the actual game?
Well, you said it. That's the goal, is to balance it, right? These games are still really important. Teams play these games to win them. It's a great opportunity to reward teams for a successful season. It's also an opportunity. A lot of programs launch themselves into the next season. You see a lot of teams who have a lot of players returning that play in a bowl game, get that extra couple weeks of practice, and then they have great seasons the following year. So that's really important. But in terms of the title sponsors, I think bowl games are starting to develop a reputation of being willing to be more creative, to take some chances that maybe other sports entities wouldn't, and have some fun with it, but at the same time not sacrificing the integrity of the game.
Has the transfer portal made that a necessity, with the way in the opting out of games?
Transfer portal has done a lot, and not much of it has been positive. To be honest with you, I think college football has some major problems on its hands. There is no structure around anything. I think that the notion of student athletes being able to transfer a little bit more freely is a good notion. I think the notion of them getting paid is a great notion. The combination of those two happening at the same time without any structure around them and any rules is nothing short of disastrous right now. We see players opting out of the playoffs because of the predicament they're put in. Something has to happen, and I think the leadership in college football needs to stop making excuses why it can't and just find ways to get it done.
I was going to ask you about that. I'm glad you brought it up because you're right. We just saw yesterday, Penn State's backup quarterback, Bo Prabula, puts out a statement basically saying, I don't want to do this now, but I feel like I have to do this now because, if he doesn't get his name in by December 28th, he's got to wait till, the end of April, and then he misses spring practice wherever he ends up next. What do you think the solution is? Is it, as you said, changing the dates, making it easier for guys to go, in their own time frame, opposed to these tight windows that they got to get their name in?
Yeah, I think any solution is going to be met with some resistance because there's not any perfect answer
Right.
that it's easy to implement, right? So we got to get past that, right? We got to just make decisions that are in the best interest of the sport. And if you have to sacrifice something along the way, that's fine. Let's remember, we're coming from a place not so long ago where if you wanted to transfer, you had to sit out an entire year, right? And people said that was a little too severe. Now we're like, okay, you could transfer as much as you want. You could transfer every semester your entire college career if you want, right? That's not right either, right? So somewhere in the middle, I'd like to see discussions around, when you transfer, you have to be at a school for one full academic year, right? Or if you're going to transfer, that there's some kind of buyout that the school you're going to has to pay. Let's face it, these student athletes are becoming employees. There's going to be direct payments from the university going to them starting July 1st. And I think as a result, it stands to reason that there should be some kind of contract between the parties that protects the student athlete to make sure they're getting paid what they're promised, but also protects the institution. If you're going to pay somebody to do a job, hey, let's face it, guys. You guys work for a living. I work for a living. If I don't do my job, I'm not getting paid.
Right.
We need to start talking about that.
Yeah, really good stuff there. Last one from me, just as we kind of wrap this up. Any matchups that you've got your eye on come bowl season? I mean, you being a Cuse guy, you have your eye on that Syracuse-Washington State game. What are you looking forward to the most about this bowl season?
Yeah, I'll talk about that one first. Of course, I'm always looking forward to any bowl game Syracuse is in, and the opportunity to win 10 games, which hasn't happened too often in Syracuse football history. As story as it is, I think is great, and I love the fact that all the top guys at Syracuse are playing. I think that speaks to the program that Coach Brown is building, the culture that's being built. I'm not a big opt-out guy for any reason. People call it opting out. I call it quitting. Right? If you make a commitment, you follow it through. You play 12 games in the bowl game in the playoff. So I'm excited to see that game. I'm excited for a lot of games. The best part about bowl season is when the matchups are announced on that Sunday, you inevitably see two teams, teams playing each other that you say in your mind, geez, I don't remember them ever playing each other before. And in some cases they haven't. And they get to go to this destination they wouldn't normally play, and these communities across the country get to experience a level of college football they wouldn't otherwise. So I think they're all great. I'm going to be at 6 of them. I'm looking forward to the Pinstripe Bowl. I think Boston College-Nebraska matchup in New York City is going to be pretty cool. There's no such thing as a bad bowl game, so I'm going to be watching all of them.
Yeah, sounds good. And I was going to say, job well done. Kick back and relax and watch some of these games now, but it sounds like you've got a lot of travel ahead of you, so I don't know if you're going to be kicking back necessarily, but enjoy your work, enjoy the bowl season, and, happy holidays to you and your family.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Always good talking to you.
All right, Nick Carparelli joining us here on the show, and with that, we'll hit a timeout. We'll line up another interview. We've got Jim Coventry set to join us on the other side.
Should we have him break down our fantasy championship matchup?
Well, you could. I mean, since you're in it, you can lead the way. You've earned that right. You being in the championship, we'll
I wonder
do so
if he's
next.
ever spoken to a champion before, or someone that's been in such a prestigious championship.
I'm sure he has. Yeah, well, yes. I mean, there's a lot of bragging rights on the line with this one. We'll talk with
What
Jim
an honor
Coventry
for him.
next on ESPN Radio.